Hey everybody, John here from the sports department going over the LCS slate for this afternoon. One of these games we've already talked about extensively. It's already been in two other slates. The other one is not a super exciting one, so it'll probably be just another kind of short video here today. But I at least want to go over everything, keep everybody up to date on the playoffs for people that aren't following along super closely, and we'll go over what we can do on this slate to maybe get any sort of milk some blood from a stone on a slate like this. The first matchup's TSM. They're minus 360. They're 12-6 on the season. Up against Dignitas, plus 245. They went 5-13 in the regular season. You can see that matchup down here in the losers bracket after TSM's loss to Golden Guardians. So happy about that. I had definitely predicted TSM to stomp them, but I'm super happy that they didn't. Golden Guardians is such a cool team. I'm really excited with how they won that matchup, and I'm glad to see some of these teams with these veteran NA players get a little punished for playing like kind of exploitable League of Legends. NA's been such a bad region about punishing exploitable strategies. It's just so good to see somebody come in and finally punish it and make one of these teams have to wake up a little bit. TSM, I mean, Golden Guardians basically threw out the gauntlet to them and said, you know, you're going to have to adapt, and TSM could not adapt. So fantastic, tough series for TSM there. But they're now down against Dignitas in the lower bracket down here. Not a super exciting matchup there. Going over the stats, I mean, TSM just crushes them in every category. 1773 to 1671 in gold per minute, plus 59 to minus 131 in gold differential. First Blood and First Turret both go to TSM. Dragon percentage by 10%. And at 15 minutes even, TSM is not an at 15 minutes team, but even at 15 minutes they're beating Dignitas. So no real reason to think that Dignitas has any shot in this matchup. Golden Guardians, when I went over that matchup for this video, their stats are actually pretty comparable to TSM, and in some stats they're significantly better than TSM, so that was not that surprising. This one, TSM, definitely going to destroy Dignitas, in my opinion. I don't think that matchup's going to be close. Unless there's some serious locker room issues with Double Lift after their first loss, I don't see how they lose to Dignitas. So, pretty tough to not be on the TSM side of this matchup. And then the FlyQuest EG one I've talked about at length. That matchup is up here in the upper bracket. If you want to hear more full thoughts on this series, I have two other videos where I discuss this series, since it's been on 3 slates now. But the long story short is I think FlyQuest is probably going to win pretty easily. And the KPW DPL for this series is extremely high. We'll go to the projections in a minute, but my guess is that we're definitely going to want to be involved with 4 FlyQuest plus the winner of this matchup, which I'm going to go with TSM. But you can see the KPW DPL for this series is a lot lower than the FlyQuest EG one. So this will probably be my 3rd slate in a row being heavy FlyQuest, so I kind of have to just wait for this matchup and see how it goes. Going over to the actual slate, the teams we really need to take a look at are TSM and FlyQuest as far as I'm concerned. And if you go position by position, FlyQuest 27 points in the top lane, 37 points in the jungle, 23 points in mid, 29 points at AD carry, and 34 points at support. So FlyQuest just crushing every position. So if you're going to play like a FlyQuest TSM mix, you want to be as heavy on FlyQuest as you can. The optimal cash lineup according to this would be Santorin, Solo, Spica, Bjergsen, Wild Turtle, and Ignar. Doesn't surprise me that much because Power of Evil is so good for TSM, but at the same time, Bjergsen is like the only good person on TSM. Power of Evil is so good for FlyQuest, but Bjergsen's like the only good person on TSM. There's, I think, an argument to maybe play Double Lift and Power of Evil instead of Bjergsen and Wild Turtle, but the projections have Bjergsen and Wild Turtle, so I trust the projections when it comes to knowing exactly how the fantasy points are likely to play out on a slate like this. So that makes the most sense for a cash lineup as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, just a kind of easy little 2-game slate. I think the ownership's really obvious. It'll be TSM, followed by FlyQuest, followed by EG, followed by Dignitas. So TSM. My dogs are just ornery this morning. Sorry about that, guys. Short video, we still can't avoid getting a couple dog barks in here. So TSM, FlyQuest, EG, and Dignitas, and I think the cash lineup looks good to me. This feels like another good slate for cash. The playoffs tend to be really good slates for cash in general. It's more obvious to people who's going to win, so you can take advantage of kind of 2v2s, and sometimes, especially when we have an NA series that's high scoring like this, there was a couple different, like, there was an NA, LCS, and LPL one, and that was a great spot to take advantage of for FlyQuest because most people are going to be involved on the LPL side more heavily. So that's all for me on this one, guys. I'll be back. I have 2 more videos at least to do today. I'm not sure what other kind of funky slates DraftKings is going to come up with for me to talk about, but there's at least 2 more that I have to do later today, so I'll be back to talk about the other slates pretty soon. Appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you later.